Hey everyone, it's Ivonne Lelisondo again. Oh, today I want to talk about the elements. Fun witchy stuff today. A few days ago, I did a video about the type of witchy gal that I am, and I introduced, just a very general understanding of how I work with magical practices and holistic healing. And again, it was very general. So what I want to do today is really start to break down the process of magical work. And I wanted to start off by using and really explaining the elements and how the elements work for us in our own magical practice. Okay, so the elements, as I am referring to, they are, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here if I remember how to do that. There we go. Okay, the elements are, those aspects of air, earth, fire, water, and we include spirit in magical practices. Now, what you're looking at here is the elemental pentacle. This is not a satanic symbol, okay? The five-pointed star has been used throughout ancient history to represent a variety of things, okay? One of them happens to be the elements. And the five-pointed star also represents Venus. The ancients were very much in tune with the star, the five-pointed star, representing the connection to our own essence as individuals. I can't think of the image where the man is like standing in a, arms spread out and, legs spread out and really creating the essence of a five-pointed star. So the pentacle really represents our true nature, our wholeness, as we understand it within the magical tradition. Alchemists also use the elements to create change and manifest. Plato used it. Again, it's been used quite a bit. This is not a satanic symbol, I repeat, okay? There is a misconception that it pertains, and Hollywood has not helped our cause to help educate people that this is not a satanic symbol. They use it all the time, okay? Misconception. All right, so the first element that we work with is air. And air is represented by the eastern horizon. It's the eastern direction. It's typically yellow, okay? Air represents, in magical elemental practice, the mind, okay? The knowledge, rational thinking. Air is very movable, right? What does wind do? It comes in. It could be still, or it could be very movable. So it represents mutability and changeability and flexibility, okay? Again, it's new beginnings, it's new intentions, it's the eastern horizon. So it also represents anything new or the potential for something. Then we move on to earth. Earth is represented by the northern direction, okay? It is typically the color green or black, okay, depending on what type of earth you're working with. If you're working with trees, it's probably green. If you're working with sand, it's probably dark, or even if it's dead earth, it's black. Earth represents fortitude. I mean, if you take a look at a rock, it doesn't move on its own, right? It's not going anywhere. Earth does not move on its own. Air moves and is fluid, okay? So it's changeability, mutability, but earth is consistent. It's fortitude. It's strength long-term. It's about, creating and manifesting here in the physical realm. Okay, so earth is fortitude. Then we move on to fire. Fire is represented by the southern direction, and it is red, typically represented as red. And fire represents the will, the passion, the energy, that sense of creativity, right? So fire can transform, right? So if you start a fire, for example, very quickly, you will find out if it gets out of hand that it is going to destroy your things. So it represents transformation and will. And then we look at water. And water is usually represented by the western direction, and it is blue. And water represents that sense of knowing, that sense of intuition, that sense. It's not knowing like knowledge in the sense of intellect or wisdom like air, but it's a knowing that comes from in here, from the heart, from compassion, from healing. Okay, it is cleansing. And then we have spirit. Although spirit is not an element per se, but it is used within the elemental tradition. And spirit represents our own consciousness, okay? Our own soul, so to speak. It represents our ancestors, it represents spirit guides, it represents deity, the gods, the goddesses. All right, in elemental work, we usually use God and goddess, feminine and masculine combined. There's not a patriarchal approach, so it's not just men. It is both the feminine and the masculine working together. And with this particular elemental work, I'll give you an example. Like every morning I get up and I do a very quick prayer, and I say, spirits, guardians of the East, please, give me a sense of wisdom. Guardians of the South, of fire, okay, give me a sense of, strength and will. Guardians of the West, water, give me a sense of knowing and compassion. And guardians of the North, of earth, give me a sense of fortitude and, consistency, okay? And then spirit, protect me all around, okay? As above, so below, as in heaven, so on earth, so to speak, okay? So how can we use this in our individual practices? Well, for example, the candle can represent fire, okay? Could definitely represent fire. Obviously, it's transformative. So if you're wanting to work with anything transformative, like you want to change something, you want to change a habit, you want to bring change into your life, okay? You want to work with fire, okay? If you want creativity, you want to work with fire. If you want will to do something, to start something, okay, you want fire. You can, if you're thinking about, anything mental, anything dealing with like the mind, the higher self, change, okay, if you're having a difficult time, bringing that sense of flexibility and open-mindedness into your life, okay, you could use a feather. I have my feathers back there somewhere. You can use incense, okay, because it represents, the sense of air, okay. And this is really great when you want to just become more flexible, be like the wind. I love that phrase. All right, let's say you want some strength and some fortitude, and you tend to be very flippy floppy, or you're just going through a difficult time and you need a lot of grounding. You could use crystals, okay, salt, earth, rocks, okay, anything pertaining to like literally like the earth, sand, okay. If you want more flexibility but still consistency, you use sand, okay. If you want really just hard, not movable, okay, you use a crystal. And for water, you could use a smudge spray, okay. You could use a bowl of water. You could use, anything that represents water, like fish, okay. Seashells are also representative of water. So again, we use these symbols in our practice as we're focusing our intention on what we want to manifest, what we want to change, what we want to transform. And so each of the elements is really a basic part of who we are, right? It's intellect, air, wisdom, okay? It is strength and will, fire. It is healing, it's compassion, it's knowing, intuition, water, and it is fortitude and strength and consistency is air. And then of course, spirit brings it all together. You could also combine the two. For example, let's say all you have is an incense and you want to work with, air and fire. Here we go. You want to bring changeability, mutability, and transformation or creativity, light an incense, right? Because it's fire, and then it's the smoke that comes out represents the air. If you want to, for example, cleansing and grounding, okay, that's why we use smudge sprays, okay, because they tend to have an earth element in there, okay, which is salt or any of the herbs represent the air, represent the earth, excuse me, and then you add water or oil or whatever combination. So you can mix them together. Let's say, for example, you don't have incense, you can use a candle for fire. It could also represent, you could put a little bit of salt on there and represent the earth. Okay, you can set it next to a bowl of water. And then when the smoke goes out, that's actually representing, you know, the actual component of air. So that is a very general explanation of the elements of how we use them in magical practices. And if you have any, you know, if you want to learn more about witchy stuff or the elements, or, you know, become knowledgeable in astrology or anything that's, for me, fun and occult, let me know. You can reach me at spiritualessence.com. That's spiritual-essence.com. And again, this is all fun. This is all just, you know, tools that we're using to help us concentrate, to help us manifest, to help us bring into our life and create, co-create with the universe. So tends to be a good tools to work with. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Blessed be.